$500,000. But there's a benefit to it. We wouldn't be having this trolley tour if it weren't for that new bridge, because if it was just a footbridge, we wouldn't be able to drive across it. So now we're able to take ambulance, police car, fire truck, any emergency vehicles, and that was part of the concept of spending that much money on the design.
There's another reason for this bridge. The government 25 years ago started a rail trail grant program. There's rail trails throughout the whole United States. The government realized that the railroads were disappearing, okay? But what if the railroads ever came back? If these railroad right-of-ways were just taken up by residents and that stuff, you could never get these railroad right-of-ways through again. So they instituted the rail trails program to preserve these rights-of-way. Okay? So if the railroads ever come back, we have the rights-of-way. This is a 20-ton bridge. This will handle a train. Okay? Or a trolley.
PennDOT recognized the bridge. We got an award for the aesthetic design of the bridge. You know, for those of you who drive underneath it and see it, you see how pretty it really is. We put that artificial stonework on it. It doesn't look like one of those typical interstate highway bridges. It has a little bit more character. And it really didn't cost that much more to do that.
Right here, we have a friend of the trail. You pull that little lever there, he has a railroad bell that clangs and that stuff. Mr. Kern, he's a friend of the trail. That's the train yard I was telling you about that replaced the Parkway rail yard. In this rail yard, it was gigantic. It was like 20 rails right next to each other to handle the iron ore and the limestone to be processed into pig iron and the final product is cement. And at the other end of this railroad yard was where it tied in with many, many other railroads. The Reading Railroad, the Lehigh Valley Railroad, the Lehigh New England Railroad, the Catawba-Pulversville Railroad, the Northampton Bath Railroad, and it took the final products to all parts of the country. So this was a very busy place.
Yeah, we scared to live in daylight some poor girl this morning. And we didn't mean to, but we came right up on her. She didn't hear us. We beat the horn. This railroad yard's about a half mile long. Like Ray said, there were like 20 sets of railroad tracks in there. A lot of cars. So we're maneuvering back and forth.
I don't have any.
And behind the door,
yes, yes. Yes, they did. Yes. They also had a wide railroad track. We didn't show you that because you can't see it from the leaves, but the spur line, right when we crossed the Lehigh River Street Bridge, the spur line broke off to the right.
and went on the Catawba-Pulversville out to Albertus.
Right.
Because David Thomas had another iron foundry out there, which is the Lehigh County Park
In Albertus.
They had an actual foundry building with the sand molds and that stuff, how they poured the metal in there to make the big iron ingots and everything.
Lockbridge Furnace.
Lockbridge Furnace.
In Albertus.
In Albertus.
They also had one down in Wilson. Another one in Kellertown. So these railroads all tied in.
That was the Catawba and Pulversville Railroad. Eventually went up to the Rittenhouse Gap and burst down to the iron ore down.
Everhart, what I say. To your right, Ferdinand Everhart Homestead. Now he also mined the limestone and burned it into lime for fertilizer.
I mean, I get tired at night just operating a remote control.
Okay, now we are on the right-of-way of the famous Lehigh Valley Railroad. There's 4 railroad lines here, 2 for express passenger and 2 for heavy freight. And this is well known for its Black Diamond Express passenger train from Bristol, PA to Wilkes-Barre all the way up to Buffalo, New York.
It was exploded in New York City.
My neighbor was a fireman on that train, the big steam engine. They would clock over 100 miles an hour going through this area. Even across the crossing, if somebody wasn't paying attention when it started crossing, goodbye.
I am taking
My parents used to go down, they used to get on the train here, take the local down to Ironton, get on the Black Diamond, and in 45 minutes they were at Grand Central Station in New York for the evening. It's so easy to get to New York. Wow. Can't do that today.
I rode on that train when I was 5 years old in 1957. I'm sure about that. So that's how long ago, when it stopped shortly thereafter. Of course, now you know how old I am, but actually I'm not more than 15 because my wife tells me that all the time.
We just passed through Darktown. And the story about Darktown is David Thomas built the company town of Hakkendakwa. He provided everything, including electricity. However, most of his laborers were Irish. We got a problem. David Thomas did not allow any bar rooms in this town. Okay. So all the Irish congregated down here for their whiskey. It was just loaded with bars. But David Thomas did not support this part of the community. And he did not provide electricity for light. So they got the name Darktown.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Passing East Church Street. If you look to your left,
that way,
uphill, you'll see the First Presbyterian Church of Hakkendakwa, which was built by David Thomas for the community. It just celebrated its 125th anniversary. I'm judge of elections for the 18th district in Lehigh County. That's where my polling is. We just entered the Thomas Iron Works property. When he was in operation, you did not see one tree here. It was a total industrial site. Just loaded with railroad tracks all over the place. 6 blast furnaces, 80 feet high, belching black smoke and everything. The steam engines here were belching black smoke. The smell of coal gas, creosote, oil, and that stuff. There was donkeys pulling carts on the railroad tracks also. And it was a very dangerous site. In fact, my grandfather died in 1926 in an industrial accident at the Thomas Iron Works. Along the hill here, 3 mansions up here, along Front Street. You can't see. This building here was the Thomas Iron Works office building. A lady bought it 10 years ago, and she's been renovating it. She got it registered with the National Historic Site, and she's done a wonderful job. She has a sign there saying Thomas Iron Works office building. This building here was the office building for the Ironton Railroad. It's currently owned by the Legion, and they rent it out. Hopefully we can renovate that building to its original state and have a sign on there, Ironton Railroad.